Okay, hey everybody, it's me, Vince Mancuso, and this video is going to be all about project number 3. So first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to write project number 3. And it's D1. 20. It's Mancuso V over M. Okay, so project 3 is all about the entire group of forms. So what we're looking at here, let me lay them out for you, is you're looking at a cube. Okay, I'm going to draw the XYZ axes here because I want you to see how the dimensionality, the dimension of the sphere, all right, looks. Okay, so there's the sphere. And then let's get here. This is going to be the cylinder. Let me edge that with a little black softness. See, sometimes when I just want to sketch, I love my limestone pencil, you know. It's just kind of, you know, it's great to draw with. It's like as if I'm drawing with colored pencil crayons, you know. It's kind of fun, and I like, you know, for quick ideation. And I put a little yellow in here now because I'm having a good time, and I love my iPad. So there's my cylinder. And, you know, then you just kind of go down the list, you know. Look, here's my, you know, my cone. And, of course, you gotta have, let me just line that with some black. Give it a little drawing love. And what am I gonna do here? I'm gonna get a little bit of a purple here for my pyramid. Okay, so I got, no, you know, I could do my thing like that, right? Look, here's a square. You know, it kind of just shifted the axes around. Yeah, so I got my cone and pyramid. Did I get that right? I gotta check this now. I'm a terrible speller. So and now I'm curious. Did I get it right? Pyramid? Yeah, pyramid minus the E. There we go, not bad. Okay, so basically what this project is, it's now you're going to use all the forms. In project 1, we just worked on the cube. We determined that the cube would provide for us the, X, Y, Z axes, right? Check it out. Right? If I connect from here to here, and then from here to here, and from there to there, right? I've got my Y, X, Z concept, and now I'm going to apply that to all the other forms, and I'm just going to have fun, rock and roll, and I'm just going to start to build. I'm going to start to interconnect them, and I'm going to start to just build an entire universe, based around these basic forms, interconnecting, slicing them, dicing them, changing their positions on things, and see what happens. All right? So I'm just going to now take that away, and I'm going to go to work here. So limestone, I'm going to go directly black ink here. Got to get your layers always set up properly in your iPad. It especially if you want to create layers for animation and stuff, right? So, and I like to do that, saving the different layers so I can turn them on and off. Okay, so I'm going to take a cube there. I've just got an idea. I'm going to start with a sort of relatively large, let me cross through there. See, look, how I just figure things out, right? I'm just playing, okay? So I'm going to get this now perpendicular, right, to here, so it's kind of like a gesture like that, and I'm going to isolate that, and I'm going to bring this back to the corner, and I'm going to create this kind of pointed shape, form, pyramid, right? I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to follow this all the way out, okay? What I'm looking for, maybe even more like that, just to check what I'm looking for here is 90 degrees. Right? And then I'm looking to see if these intersecting points, if this feels like it's 90 degrees, okay? Yeah, it's okay, but you know what? I don't want it to go there. I'm going to cheat it. I'm going to make it come here, so I sort of readjust myself, right? So it's like that, and I'm going to build my pyramid out like so, right? Okay, so now I've got this happening. Right? So right underneath here, I'm going to draw a cube platform, right? I'm going to make it sort of fade away as it gets down to the middle, and have some fun, see what happens. I don't know where this is going. It's not important. What I'm doing here is I'm drawing the forms, and I'm thinking about them in perspective. I'm coming from above down now, which is kind of cool. I'm sort of into that, so in here I'll sort of put a whole bunch of cubes, and then I'll do right beside it, connecting, touching a sphere, and coming this way and that way, this way and that way. Yeah, like that. And then I'm going to come this way. And you know what? I'm going to, right inside here, I'm going to take that, and then I'm going to run that through and out. Look at what I'm going to do here. This goes back in there. I'll go right in. Yeah, I'm going to come through here, my cross point there, and I'm going to come out right about there. Right? So now I'm going to put an intersecting, and I'll get like as if the cone came right through, right? See, because it originated inside here, right? From the North and the South Pole, that particular, right? Can you see it? It's like right in there. It's in there, right? But now it's busting through, right? Which it looks kind of cool, right? So I'm going to go back and erase that because that's actually kind of interesting. See? And I go back. So what else can I do? What else can I come up with here? You know what? I'm going to do this now and come down this back corner there through back there and find my axes coming forward like that, right? And I am going to create like a nice, not too large, actually a kind of a, see now I've created my ellipse platform. There it is, right? And I'm going to come here in the middle and I'm going to create a slightly narrow ellipse. And then over here, I'm going to beef it up again. So it kind of does a bit of a swell. So check it out. Look. Isn't that cool? Get a sort of interesting design variation right through there. Okay, this is like plotting my curves and stuff like that so that I get the shapes that I want. And I know that they're solid. So I'm going to intersect here. So if I draw this line sort of parallel to here, and then I'll come across this way, right? Look, I'm looking for my convergence here so that it's telling me it's correct, right? Because it's happening. So now if I create a radius there, right? I got the base of another ellipse, and you know, I'll draw in here a smaller one, and then another one, right, directly. Now, how do I get these, right? Like, look, if I draw a line through these points and I do the convergence, right? So basically, as it's coming towards me here a little bit, it's starting to swell. So I've got the size ratio right. So now I'll put in a larger size right in there and bring that through and right over here, right? If I run parallel lines through there, these points through there, right? Now I'm starting to get my size for the pipe, right? Like this. And now I could do this to the outer edges and repeat that design effect, you know, over here really quickly, and great deal of clarity and accuracy, right? It's fun, you know, that's kind of cool. So now I'm kind of here at this point here, I'll pop in another large cube over here, but this time I'll do this. I'll come down like that, so to get that sort of cube feeling, and I'm gonna come somewhere in there, right? I'm finding my intersecting points because I'm gonna do something here. I'm going to come to this point here, this center point, right? And now what I'm gonna do, right, my cube is somewhere in here. I'm gonna come halfway through here, right? Find that point there, to there, and to here. And now I'm going to slice. I'm gonna slice off a section like this. See? And now this would come off the page and then parallel to the one beside it. So this is how I know it's correct. It's got to be parallel. It's got to diverge, right? And now I've created this shape with a slope. Let me erase that. That's awesome, right? And now I'm gonna look to sort of attach something to it. Connect something, maybe what, and setting itself up perfect to go like at a 45-degree angle, because I made, my cut basically, something like this, okay? There's my center point, right? So now I'm going to come up 90 degrees to that, like that. See, look, I'm looking for the 90 degrees there, okay? So yeah, that's awesome. Look, I'm gonna go like this, right? And then I'm going to come across parallel to that line there, and I'm going to do this, and get my angle right. Should be doing this. So I'm looking for 90 degrees in there, okay? Now I'm going to just pull this out a little further here, because what I'm going to do now is right based on that XYZ axis, right? I'm going to put a sphere there. Let's see. Like so. Just kind of float. Nah, that's too big. I'm gonna make it smaller. I'm gonna go backwards on that, and I'm just gonna make my sphere float in here, so it doesn't interfere with this shape, which I like. I don't want that. I'm the artist. I'm deciding, right? How do I want my picture to look? That's it. You see the sphere sort of taking shape over there? So I'm going to do that, right? And bring that form in there. And bring that around to that side. Okay, so cool. I got that. You know what? Look, why don't we do this? Why don't we I'm going to turn around here, and I'm going to actually create a slightly dipping, right? Because you see I've created that angle for my axis. There's my half circle there. And I'm just going to erase some of that. Yeah, because I want to keep that plane turning there. Okay, so I'm just having fun. I'm just inventing as I go along, just mostly just trying to engage a game of connection, connecting things, connecting the planes, making sure that they're correct, right? Like I'm going to run this axis through here, right? So this now allows me to, come at it like that. And let me sort of then, what should I do? I'm going to tilt that up like that, okay? So I've got a plane. You know what? I'll put in a cube. I'll put in a cube, right? So there's my square in that perspective. And now I'm bringing the plane forward this way. See? You see it sort of starting to construct and come together, right? So there's a cube sitting in front there, and now I'll intersect here. And I'm going to draw a line right through here that's kind of following on this trajectory of the cube. So in here now, I can actually find a plane relative to that. Right? You see? And I can intersect that platform. And right here, right, I can go and build a whole bunch of cubes. Look, all sitting on top of that perspective, right? Coming along the base. Now check this out. If I cross this here and I come across and then I go on the diagonal like that, when it touches this line, right, I've actually recreated the cube, enlarging it exactly to the one right beside it. Right? Look, I intersect, and then I run the line. I come to the halfway point, and then from one corner I diagonally go out, and once again it gives me the boundary of the cube, right? So I can build exact cubes progressively going in perspective. I mean, fuck, math is unbelievable. I wish I would have paid more attention to it, instead of fooling around, But that's amazing. You see, now I've managed to get a bunch of cubes in there, and if I go upward, like so, and I keep the trajectory of those lines all kind of expanding out because it's coming towards me, I can put another set of cubes up here just by coming up the height distance, or here like this. I cut through and I find the halfway point. I come up this way till I hit that line. Okay? And now, I come across here and I come across here, and I've got the base to draw in a whole bunch of cubes floating up above. Yeah, isn't that great? And just start to tilt them away from me as they're getting closer and closer to the top, so that it feels like there's a perspective change happening. That's great. And you know what? I'll just come up this one here and I can come across there. Okay. So, and then at a certain point, as you can see, like I kind of know what these have to look like, and I know what they have to do. And so I don't have to keep finding those lines, I establish something and I move on. I figure something out, I use it to the point that I need it, and then I move on. Okay. That's the incredible thing. And look, I'm drawing fast. I'm building this vision out. This whole thing is happening, and I kind of I'm like, whoa, what's actually going on here? I don't know, but it's kind of cool, right? So here we go. Look, I'm going to come in here now, and I'll tuck in a cube in behind here, and I'll do something else with it, right? So it's actually got a slightly different direction, right? Then, look, I'm making some adjustments as I go. I spotted that my line was, the angle was a little off. I'm not going to fret with it. I got a vision here to realize, a big idea. Okay. So now I do this, right? I'll come across this way. I'll create, for example, a point. If I come this way and then I intersect that, and I got something there, right? Come across here. Sorry, what do I want to do? I'm going to come across here. Look, and I got now accurate 2 points right there. So you know what? Why don't I create a smaller rectangular form right here, and then continuing on this axis, I'll sort of maybe right in here, just create a spherical form. So there's like a ball just sitting at the end of it right there. It's awesome. And so that's a kind of interesting little shape, interesting little construction, right? So look at here. Now I'm going to cross over like this, and I've got this shape over here, so I don't want it to run into it, right? So I cross in here, and I get a point, okay? So from here, I could turn around and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to take this vertical, and I'm going to bring it up now. Like that. Just let it slightly overlap, right? And draw that in. All right, so now I've got a tower structure sitting on the edge of the cube, right? And it's just the painting is starting to happen. It's starting to just take off. Which is kind of fun. Kind of neat. So now I'm just taking a moment here, but I'm going to keep rolling, keeping a good pace. Let's do something like this. Here, I'm at the epicenter. From here to here, that's the North Pole, and then, there's the thing. So I'm inside there. So what can I do? You know what? I'm going to do a little kind of curvy, snaky type of thing, okay? So I'm coming out from here. Here's the surface, okay? So I'm going to do something like this, right? And I'm going to snake this, right? Kind of like that. Right? Now look at what I do here. So I'm coming around like this, okay? So I'm going to come to this point here, and I'm going to create a coordinate, right? But I'm going to create an elliptical ring around it, right? And then I'm going to come here, and I'm going to create another elliptical ring, right? And I'm looking at it, I'm going, yeah, that's roughly the same size. Make it a little larger because it's coming closer to me, right? So now I add another, right? See how I'm trying to maintain the 90 degrees, right? So now I add another here, like that. And I'm swelling it, right? And now I'll do another right up in here, which is even larger. Okay? And now I'm going to bring this around, and I've created this horn or a pipe, Look. See, these are my coordinates, right? Because I'm coming around here, right? I'm coming around and getting the outside, right? I'm going to the extremities, right, of the circumference. Look, see how easy that is, and that's gonna start to look like a pipe, like a tube, right? See through. Look at that. That's fucking wild. So cool. So cool, And you know what? I'm just going to ride this up even further, Even further. Absolutely. Look at that. That's just cool. It's just cool. Okay, so now my page is filling up. It's looking interesting. I got a lot of interesting connectivity things going on. Right, and I keep adding more. So now I'm going to come out this end here, and we're going to do a cylindrical right there. Right. And now I'm just going to end up putting a cube, right? Like, isn't that great? Like, look at how it's right into the center of the cube, I mean, that's so crazy, right? It's now based on the perspective that's going, this way, right? This is like, if you look at, the perspective grid now, look at the perspective grid that I started to create. It's so interesting, right? It's this, right? You've got lines coming down this way, right? Like this, okay? That's the general right in there, like that, okay? And then if I turn around and get the opposing direction, I got this going. Hold on a second. I got this going. Let me make that a little thicker too. I got this going, right? This is the perspective grid, okay? I mean, I didn't sit and think about it, right? It's just kind of intuitively, it's starting to happen, right? Like that, you see? See that? I mean, and then there's also this going, right? And you'll see the axes, right? Like it's in there, right? It's like you got this going like that. Like that. So fucking cool. Right? Like that. Okay? And so now I can cut through here, look. There's my grid, right? I can feel it in there, and everything that I'm drawing is working towards that end, that direction. Okay? And now, I could have planned that out. I could have put that grid in before and then started to do, but I could see it, right? I could see it. That's the point, right? You get to the point where you can see it, okay? Isn't that incredible? Right? Now I can see it. I know that that's kind of going on, right? So I keep exploiting that idea as I'm having fun, building this drawing, being creative, figuring things out, and making adjustments, all of that kind of stuff, right? So I'm gonna just change the angle on that, because once I put the grid on it, it sort of, kind of said to me, go in a slightly different angle, just an adjustment there, right? Let's get that and do a little line work here. Drop in some cast shadow as I go along, right? Just bring out the idea. So now I'm going to, what am I going to do? You know what? I am going to take a coordinate from the base of that cube right there and come down, and I'm going to create a sort of pointed pyramid intersecting that one there, which I think might be cool. And to that corner right there. Yeah, sure, why not, man? That's cool. And I just clean that up. Yeah, because now I'm just, and what I'm doing is I'm deliberately actually manipulating the way, things are being seen here, right? So that I can create the illusion of quantity, right? Like that there's lots of stuff, So, look at how, I play around with that, right? So now I'm kind of, doing this kind of turning sort of detail with the cubes, right? Just kind of filling in that corner, making you think like, oh yeah, wow, look at all that, look at all those forms, Jesus, look at all that detail. Manipulating your perception so that, you believe that you're looking at, a lot of stuff. You see how I drew that little ridge in there really quickly, going, yeah, cool, that's cool. That sort of just makes it look like there's more forms there than there really is, keep playing that out. So I've got this cube sitting here, so you know what, let me take advantage of this, and I'm going to create a base there. I'm going to come up, I'm going to do a little fishbowl in there. Yeah, which will look kind of cool, I think. It'll bring kind of a half circle little fishbowl, and then why not come right up to the center point in here, and I'll just drop in a cylinder. It kind of sits inside here. All right, let me just clean that up a little bit. Okay, yeah, that's fun. See, and it sort of adds another form that you think you're seeing, right? And this is project 3, right? More is best. Draw as much as you can, and bring and connect and have fun with those shapes. Look at what I'm going to do here. I'm going to what am I going to do there? So if I come down this center point here, I can actually, I'll just drop down and put a little cube in there. Right? Now the funny thing is, that grid that I showed you, it's set to a particular orientation, but then inside that grid, like one of these cubes, right, could be running at a 45-degree angle, to the XYZ axes, right? That's possible. So it's not like everything just kind of lines up, you see, and becomes like a row, right, of forms. Everything becomes eventually, this is what nature is. It becomes very organic because these things are occurring, right, in space, going in every direction, you see? And eventually, when enough of that all gnarls together, everything starts looking very organic, like as if there are no straight lines, like as if nothing is ordered, right? This is, I think, the whole pathos, I don't even know exactly what that means, but like the big idea that human beings get obsessed about, in terms of making order out of chaos, right? Conquering nature, wrestling nature and clearing out an area and making it perfectly square, so that then you go in and you start to build, and you build a village and you build cities, It's wild, right? It's like that human beings start to think that way and take things in those directions, right? And, throughout history, right, philosophies and ideas around, like how much should you mess with nature, and how much should you let it be? These are always questions that humanity's always been asking, It's funny, you start to play with these basic forms, and there's this whole sort of greater significance and meaning, dealing with this kind of abstraction, dealing with this kind of vision. Okay, so I'm having a blast here. I got this coming over. You know what? I'm gonna come up here a little bit. I'm gonna put a sort of a bowl sphere kind of shape right on here, and we want to bring that to there. And we want to bring that to there so that I know exactly where the base of that bowl is. And I bring it around to the back side. Come underneath here. So I'm going to overlap that underneath that form. Okay, watch what it's gonna let that clear that out right in there. This is so cool. Yeah. So I got that sitting in there, and of course I want to come more across it like this, right? So it's flat, okay, and it's coming down to the middle in there like that, so that I know that it's a spherical form sitting underneath this form. All right, I'll make it curve out like that, so that you get that sense, and then you can always sneak in, forms, you see. That's the thing. Now, just by sliding in a bit of a thing like that could be a cube, right? And just weaken that a little bit there so that shape rolls under and the cube is there. Clean that up a little bit, right, as we're going through. And you can see now how the structure has kind of defined itself, which will set me up now in terms of figuring out how to light it and eventually tone it. Okay, so I'm just going to push this a little more just for you guys to see, like you got to go the distance. This is what this is all about, right? So more is best, right? So don't, fill up those spaces, make me believe that I'm looking at, thousands of cubes and spheres and cones connecting and twisting and doing things, right? Even just, throwing in a few circles like this, look, those are all perfect spheres, and it just makes it look like there's more stuff, right? Now I'll put in a few bowls. And just keep filling it up. Show me, make me believe, make me think that I'm seeing something that I'm not, right? Look, there's another cube right in there. Slipping those in there. I'm going to do a few right in here so it feels like there's like a whole vertical row in there. Right? And you start creating this kind of imaginary universe. This world that sort of exists. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of cool, And I'm going to show you sort of a trick that you can do in an iPad, or any computer program. Now when I go to put the tone in. Isn't that cool? Okay, we started here. Basically taking these basic ideas, playing with them, thinking about all of them as dimensional forms, using my X, Y, Z axes to direct me, right? Because I'm thinking Y, you see? I'm thinking X, right? And I'm thinking Z. See? Now, because I can create this anywhere, I can build any one of these things. I can intersect them right inside the forms. I can divide them, right? And I can start making them smaller and bigger, right? And start constructing everything in the universe that I can imagine. This is the trip, it's unbelievable. And once you start to understand that and open up your mind to think in 3Ds, don't worry about being precise. Get to the idea, right? Then you saw how the situation led to the making of a grid, a matrix grid, right? This very idea alone, that you can start to see and work and think in those terms, right, starts to mean you can manipulate space, right? You start manipulating space like that, right? And this is that whole thing, and the cube gives you all of this, right? You start manipulating space, then all of a sudden, this perspective grid, right? You can create anything. You can build anything accurately, right? And I didn't even have to think about it. Did I want it at this angle, that angle, whatever? I just kind of started to draw. And then as I was staying true to the various lines, right, when I was putting the forms inside here, right, it started to tell me. Now you see here how this cube, right, is actually operating on a whole other angle inside there, right? That's fine, This, it's existing in that space, and I can feel that space. That's what's important. You see? Any of these cubes that I sort of put in there, look, I can completely change their trajectory, and I'm not confused. I know how to relate them. They're all doing this, they're converging in the right directions, right? And I'm understanding that, and so I can build. Let me ink that up, here like that. This is so important to see that idea, to understand that idea, not in the sense of is it perfect? Is every square sort of exactly a quarter inch? It's who cares? Does it look like they're the right size because the whole thing looks believable? Absolutely, right? That's what we want. Now I can draw spaceships and planets and aliens and animals and people and anything I want, anything I can conceive of, and let my mind go, just like the way that I did when I created that composition, which would have been my project 3. Okay? So that's good. That's project 3. Play, have some fun, check it out. All right? Make it happen.